Is there a problem?
Yeah, moron. I ordered a cheese sandwich and there's hardly any cheese in here.
That's no good, is it? Here, give me your sandwich. I will fix it for you. We can't have people complaining that there's not enough cheese in the cheese sandwiches now, can we? I mean, if there's no cheese in a cheese sandwich, it's basically just 2 slices of bread. If word of that were to get out, well, I could lose my job. I could lose all of this! And we wouldn't want that now, would we? Would we? Would we? Ah!
What the fuck am I supposed to do with that?
Oh, you could stick it in your bum bum. You can put the cheese in your bum.
The Lolberts, that's our word, brought to you by Fasten Bulbous. Yes, the mascara snake. Fasten Bulbous. Tight also. And I'm here with... no rights reserved, but all mights reserved. I'm here with Barrett on Stormhaven. This is probably the most takes I've ever done. I think I gave up on 2 with MK. And then...
well,
I have alcohol to blame.
Right, but you seem to be wanting to get the Captain Beefeater's intro in.
Beef heart.
Beefeater.
I'm not doing another take.
Yeah, beef heart, but you know what? The gin sounds better, so I'm going with that. What's up?
So yeah, so for Patreon people, I guess you're getting this a little bit late. This was supposed to come out yesterday, but we ended up wanting to watch. I wanted to watch.
I was forced to watch.
You were forced to watch Freddy Got Fingered, which is by far one of my favorite movies of all time. And it's seeing a resurgence in my interest because of the RedLetterMedia review for it.
Fuck you, Mike, and fuck you, Jay, for doing the review for it.
Shut up, you liked it.
Actually, no, I
at it.
Yeah, I was laughing at a few bits, but overall, I just didn't. I'm not interested. Period.
You're wrong. It's great. You didn't like Tom Green to begin with.
No, I didn't. I don't. And then once I found out that you told me that Tom Green lived here, I'm like, oh, that'd be a great guest for your next podcast. And he's like, no, your podcast, because he's not a libertarian. I'm like, well, I still won't do it because I don't like Tom Green.
Yeah, you at least got to be libertarian-ish to get on Fistful.
Yeah, but Sintopia, it's pretty much an open bag.
Yeah. So we've been drinking, hence the takes, which is
yeah, blame the takes.
Fairly unusual.
Yeah, not really, because we're always drinking whenever I come over. Because I'm always either buying a bunch of stuff or I just end up brewing about 5 gallons of an Irish Red.
And that's what you did today.
Right. And I brewed it a couple weeks ago. I wanted to age. Kegged it the other night. Force carbonated it. And it turned out a hell of a lot better or much better than my previous attempt of the oatmeal stout. Mm. So I fixed whatever the carbonation problem was, but it's in my mind it still needs some work.
Yeah. It's a little on the flat side. I think you underdid it this time because you overdid it last time.
No, actually, here I underdid it last time. I actually overdid it this time. But the
carbonation? Yeah,
the carbonation. Because there's a specific PSI that you're supposed to follow with a specific degree. Say it's being brewed or it's at like room temperature. Say like between 75, 80 degrees. You're supposed to put X amount of PSI into it. Mm-hmm. I underdid that last time, and since it was so warm, maybe that's why I had so much head.
Oh, okay.
This time, a little different, but it turned out maybe something I did was wrong, but it turned out a little more watery, a little flat.
Yeah.
So it's back to the drawing board, but it's still it's. I've got 3 recipes I'm working on. This is number 2, so now I'm going to switch. The next one is going to be more of a honey-based pale ale.
Okay.
And then those are the 3 that I'm going to be working on.
And that one's going to have more hops in it, I hope.
No, actually, I want it to be more of a honey flavor, so less hops, and you can actually taste more honey.
Okay.
Because the honey pale ale is actually based off a D&D ale that my character ended up brewing that I want to, kind of translate into real life.
Wow. So nerd runs in the family.
Absolutely. Fuck yeah. Oh, speaking of nerds, I went and saw Ready Player One.
Oh God, how was it? I'm on the fence of whether or not I even want to watch it.
Watch it, but go to the public library for it because I don't believe paying money for the. I mean, it's a Spielberg movie, but it's rather subpar. I mean, if anyone actually is any of the audience is a Red Letter Media fan,
Which I hope everybody is.
right? Watch maybe the first 20 minutes of it. If you don't want spoilers, then don't watch the entire movie or the entire video. But I feel, and I understand their complaints about it, and I agree with them because a lot of the movie was subpar.
Yeah.
Beautiful to watch, sure, but a lot of the acting was eh. And I'm pretty sure maybe even the novel was eh. That's what
It sounds like he was saying the novel was as well. So,
well, it seemed to be that Mike actually enjoyed the novel more than he actually should have, because he looked like it was a guilty pleasure, at least the way he was talking.
It was
about
a young adult novel.
What's a young adult novel? So is the fucking Hunger Games and everything else.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only.
Well, I didn't get into the Hunger Games either. I watched the first one and I watched
the first
bored.
two because I was attracted to Jennifer Lawrence. And then and after that, I'm just like, whatever. I mean, there's a good, well, if anyone's a fan of Jeff Bridges, there's a young adult book that actually I read in middle school called The Giver. And there was the movie that was, based on the book. And the movie's really fucking good. At least in my opinion. If anyone wants to check it out, if they like Jeff Bridges, go for it.
Yeah. Who doesn't like Jeff Bridges? Especially after the Big Lebowski.
Big Lebowski. I mean, Tron. I mean, a lot of Jeff Bridges fans from Tron, and Big Lebowski is what really did it.
Yeah, the movie that I really want to see, but I guess it doesn't come out until next weekend. But everybody's still talking about it as if they have seen it. Like I was listening to Howard Stern because I guess I get.
Is Howard Stern still a thing?
Yeah,
holy shit!
I get a satellite radio in my car for free for the next 3 months, and I may be getting satellite radio some other means, which I don't want to talk about exactly how I'm doing that. But I may.
Why would you even mention that?
I'm just saying I may. I'm not saying I do. I'm just saying I may, theoretically. But Howard Stern was forgot where I was going with that. Fuck! Why'd you bring me alcohol?
It's what I do.
Jesus. God damn it!
I wouldn't be a baron without bringing gifts of alcohol and spice and myrrh and other shit.
Yeah, where was I going with that? Shit.
Howard Stern being a douche?
Oh no. Okay. So, yeah. Someone was talking about on the after show, the Howard Stern after show, how they'd seen Chappaquiddick, and then I think Ben Shapiro was talking to like one of the directors or something on his show, and I was like, oh, so the movie must be out, and nope, it's not out until next weekend, and
I don't even know what the fuck that is.
Okay, so Chappaquiddick was a
that like
scandal.
Chappie?
No, it was a scandal that took place in like the early 70s, I think, or mid 70s, somewhere in there, with Ted Kennedy, where he was drinking out with Mary Jo, I don't remember her last name, and they were driving on this bridge, and he steered into the lake or the river.
Yeah. Okay, I'm familiar with that.
And she drowned, and he didn't call for like 10 hours after that happened. And had he called after he got out of the water, she probably would have been saved.
Doubtful.
That's
I mean,
that's what some of the experts were saying when
were saying.
I mean, the people who were there on the ground, who were rescuing her, said like if we would have got the call immediately afterwards, we probably could have rescued her.
Well, okay.
So.
I was going to say because like reaction time and being able to mobilize a force to go or search and rescue.
Yeah, but the whole point wasn't about so much that, it was so much of like them trying to cover up that stuff so that he could still run for president later on.
Oh, right, because he's
a Kennedy.
Right, because he's part of a royal family type.
Yeah, and it was never really talked about too much, but I think it did get brought up one time when I think he did try to run for president. I think he ran against Carter and lost. I think he tried to primary Carter or something like that.
It's a fucking Kennedy. Why would I care?
Fuck Kennedys.
Every Kennedy ends up dying in some way, shape, or form.
Well, everybody dies.
John Kennedy Jr. Well, everyone dies.
Well, Ted Kennedy actually served out in the Senate until he retired.
No, but it's like, but look at John. Okay, John gets assassinated, and I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm not going to conspiracy theory, But then look at his son. I mean, I remember when I was up in Salt Lake. I was over at a friend's house, and all of a sudden, like the big news about JFK Jr.'s plane going down in was it the Atlantic or whatever, and I'm like, God, that family can't get a break.
Yeah, I love how like immediately afterwards when that happened.
They're talking about curse or
no Tom Likas. Not Tom Green. Tom Likas immediately put onto a show like because one of the things you can do if you call into the Tom Likas show is you can be like, you say like, take me out, and they'll usually blow you up. But you can also say like, take me out toilet style or take me out African tribal style, and they'll play like different sounds. And one of the ones he did like immediately afterwards was take me out JFK style, where you just hear like, you just hear a splash. It was so tasteless and beautiful.
I tried, I did try to go back and listen, even though he's behind a paywall. I tried to.
No, he's not. Tom, his podcast is.
Well, okay, no, his podcast is.
But you can listen to it live or at reruns all day.
Well, so I was listening to some call-ins from him, or to his podcast or radio show on YouTube, and it's a bunch of MRA guys, Well, no, okay, so Tom's trying to make a point. Guys are either agreeing or not agreeing, but I'm like, God damn. The whole MRA thing is just...
He's not an MRA.
No, I know he's not an MRA, but...
A lot of the pickup artists are actually like steal his material.
And they try to pawn it off.
They bastardize it and then try to sell it off. But I think the point of Tom Green... God damn it. We got Tom Green on the mic because we just watched that movie and it's fucking fantastic. But Tom Likas, what he does is he goes to the extreme because he knows that the people that are listening are like idiots and pussies, and they need that kind of like shock treatment. And I was like explaining this to someone else, and I was like, so he says treat women like shit, but he's not actually telling you to treat them like shit. What he's doing is he's trying to like shock therapy people who are constantly like, they'll see a woman they like and they'll buy them like all kinds of gifts and stuff, and that scares them off. And what he's trying to do is just shock them into doing it because he knows that they're not going to go out full being a jerk. Some will, and it'll be effective for them, but whatever. But most of the people that are going to listen to him are going to be too scared to be a complete asshole, so they're going to like test the waters a little bit, and it's just enough to do the kind of what is it, the Groucho Marx thing, like act like a woman can't join your club, she'll do almost anything to get in, and that's what's going to be effective, and they're going to stick to that kind of path. At least that's what the way it's worked for me. Because I was a big pussy in high school. It didn't work, but for him to tell me like, no, treat them like crap, I couldn't go that far. But the little bit that I did go just made me realize, like, oh, okay, I see what he's doing here. For the most part. Yeah, but pickup artists usually just take his stuff and then they add a bunch of stuff on top of it that doesn't work, and it's terrible.
Okay, so tell me how being in a polyamorous relationship is like the best thing since.
I guess I'm not poly. I guess I found this out. No, I'm not technically poly. I guess
so you can't brag.
Well, I guess she's poly. She wants to have another relationship. She doesn't.
But wait, you're actually involved in a polyamorous relationship, are you not?
No.
Then did she break up with the other guy?
She wasn't with another guy.
Interesting. Okay.
So yeah, I got a new girlfriend.
Okay, so you got a girlfriend who's interested in poly. Okay.
She is interested in poly, but I'm her only right now.
Until she decides to say fuck it and then go elsewhere.
And then she'll probably get another boyfriend, and that's fine. I'm cool with it. I'm not interested in having another girlfriend. I'm more interested in like having friends and stuff. So I guess I have an open relationship and she's polyamorous. I guess that's
however the fuck you want to define it.
Yeah, so.
But at least you're not, screaming at the top of your lungs like you're like...
No, everybody should be polyamorous, and anybody who's not a polyamorous person is doing it wrong, and you're terrible, awful people, and I'm going to spend the rest of my days talking about it. In fact, I'm going to turn the show into the poly Lolberts. We're just going to talk about nothing but polyamory for the rest of our days. I'm kidding.
I was going to say that might actually...
And I'm also getting into CrossFit and veganism, by the way.
And you dropped Satanism for atheism.
Yeah, I'm just going to go back to being a new atheist.
God, fuck those people.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Like Thunderfoot back in the day.
Even I'm looking back, it's like I completely lost interest with any so-called centrists, like Armored Skeptic, June.
Apparently I'm a radical centrist.
How the fuck? Yeah. It's like, what is it? Some black guy. No, was it not?
Some black guy says it unironically.
No, not some black guy. It's Derek Blackman. The other...
that's some black guy.
Is it sunblock? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, he fucking merches that shit like radicals. I'm like, oh my God, are you that is so fucking cringeworthy.
It is.
Jesus Christ. That's like, I can't even watch their videos anymore.
I joked around.
But he's actually fucking serious when he's trying to monetize. I'm like, dear God. There was a great video by Trudel Tom about him attacking the centrists, like Skeptic, June, and fucking everyone from Chris Ray Gun, and like everyone the gamut. He just like basically, I like them as people, but Jesus fucking Christ, take a fucking stand, you fence sitters.
Yeah.
Because if you watch their videos, that's all they do. They sit on fences. They won't make one assertion one way or the other.
Yeah.
Because they just want to appease everyone and monetize the shit.
Yeah. Like they'll always say like, I agree with this, but don't think that I'm a conservative or on the right because I believe in this too. And it's like
no, Jesus Christ, you can have nuanced opinions. It's okay. They're just worried about all their fucking haters, like label or even their fans, lumping them into one way or another. I'm like,
because the centrist is an ill-defined thing. Like there's no real like definition. So like people will call me a centrist, even though I sort of agree, but not really. Like I mean, like I'm usually center of the road on a lot of things, or I have positions on both sides that kind of equal out to be somewhere in the center.
Right,
but I think that
they would find that as contradictory, even though it's not.
Right, and I don't think that the left-right spectrum, the two-dimensional, or I guess one-dimensional spectrum, is accurate. I think it's bullshit. And I think people use it to try to lump other people into one other side so that they can be like adversarial to them.
And that's how they
unnecessarily.
Well, and that's how they other their opponents, because the last episode of the Zombie Gummers and You podcast that we did, which I think was months ago, that David never released. Come on, David. Fucking do it. Anyways, we talked.
You were supposed to trout roll, damn it.
We were, so we.
Everybody was supposed to trout roll. MK, why you no trout roll? Brian, Sovereign, why you no trout roll?
Why you no trout roll, Brian?
Everybody wanted the trout roll for April Fools, and then I'm the only one that did it. It still worked.
Yeah.
I didn't need them, but everybody else said they were going to do it too, and I thought it would be awesome if everybody did it.
Well, not everyone's you, so.
But I did it, and it was still awesome, so fuck you.
It's going back to, because we talked about in that last podcast about the other, and it was more about the psychological effects of war and how in war, or if you view someone as an other, it actually makes it more okay for you to actually do bodily harm or potentially kill the person because they're not like you.
Yeah. Like I was, fucking Crowder. He annoys the shit out of me now. But Crowder did like this,
Crowder's a fucking bitch.
Yeah, he is a bitch. He did like this was it Change My Mind Live or whatever, and he was talking to some guy and he was trying to like explain the political spectrum, and I fucking cringed so hard. He was like on the far right you have anarchist, and then you have libertarian, and then you have conservative, and then you have communist on the other side. And then he was like, "What's with anarcho-communists? They don't even believe in they say that you can have anarchism and communism at the same time." And I'm just sitting there like, do you not understand anything about the ideological landscape at all?
No, he doesn't. Because what? First, he's a fucking comic, right? And like some of the issues I take with Joe Rogan. I like what a lot Joe Rogan says, but holy shit, there's a lot I disagree with him on. Even then, maybe he would be a little bit more educated in the nuanced political philosophy.
Yeah.
But Crowder, he's just, okay.
But see, here's the thing.
No, did you ever listen to when Crowder talked with Rogan? He was talking about infiltrating Antifa, and Rogan called his ass out. Because he was,
I didn't listen to that.
Because Crowder said like the Women's March, like the vast majority of them, I would say he probably said like 75% or whatever were paid actors, and Rogan's like, "Fuck you, dude," But it's stupid shit like that now that Crowder is doing, just trying to get ratings, trying to get the hits. It's nothing but fucking clickbait.
Yeah, but like if you
his whole Twitter beef. He got banned or he got censored for whatever reason, and now he's talking to lawyers. I'm like, okay, if in an argument, if actually Twitter misrepresented themselves and actually defamed you or whatever, you have a legitimate case. But what he's talking about, it's like, dude, you're a fucking you're whining.
Yeah.
He's nothing but a fucking bitch now.
Yeah, but so that was his version of it. I know Glenn Beck has something similar to that, and that's the first time that I've heard something like that was when he was, because I was watching a Glenn Beck thing when Penn Jillette, one of the times Penn Jillette was on, and he had the chalkboard thing where he was trying to describe the political spectrum, the one-dimensional political spectrum. And he had anarchists on the far right, and then he had communists on the full left. And he even brought up anarcho-communism, how could you have anarchism but a big state? And these people don't understand
Anarchism is,
and if you were to ask
anarchism itself is a fucking spectrum,
right? And they would always put Nazism on the far left.
Well,
and then if you ask someone on the far left to drop the same political spectrum,
right, Nazism is on the far right,
and anarchism would be on the far left. It really Nazism and communism. They are far left. They're both authoritarian. I don't agree with that. I definitely believe it's far right, and you can even ask people who are Nazis or Nazi sympathizers.
Okay,
who will say that it's far right, and the reason why is because their social platform is completely right wing, for the most part, and I would say that the USSR has a lot of had a very far right kind of social.
No, because
they were very anti-gay. They were very anti-trans.
That's fine, but
anti-Semitic
doesn't fucking matter what you're looking at. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
you're talking about state control,
but see, that's the problem I have.
American left-right paradigm. State control is far left.
No,
far right.
No.
At least the way Mises and everyone else would say it, that far right.
But see, that's my problem. Is that the left-right paradigm
It's absolute bullshit now.
He has a very Americentric version of what that is, and even then people in America would still disagree with that spectrum completely because at the end of the day it really depends on what's more important to you. If economics is more important to you, then his chart is probably more accurate. But if you're more into the social freedoms and stuff, then you're going to probably be on the left, and you're going to have a different view of that spectrum. And where it's not going to be, you're not really going to be interested in the economic prescriptions. You're going to be more interested in the social. So, the far right will be Nazism and totalitarianism, and then the left would be more free or whatever.
Not even that. I mean, in essence,
but that's why I don't like
the left-right paradigm is absolute bullshit.
Yeah,
where we should subscribe to,
because I get people telling me all the time, Jim, you're a far leftist, you're a communist, you're a Trotskyite, and then I'll have people the same day talking about the same content say that I'm fucking basically Hitler, that I'm I'm literally Hitler.
See, and that's why. Let me go back to what I was what I originally wanted to say was
Jim's a far righter.
Well, no. So you're because you're more
and a radical centrist. I've been accused of literally every ideology under the sun
because you are actually more visible than I would ever want to be in terms of all this bullshit. The one thing I really appreciate you putting out when you're driving home the other day was the fucking labels. You're like, you know what? Label me. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck you. And that's honestly what it was. Earlier. When I was interviewing
fuck labels,
right? I was interviewing Kingsley Edwards.
They're important, but you go ahead. Sorry.
I was interviewing Kingsley Edwards for Sintopia, and you have to check that out to get the podcast. But I was talking about he's your typical libertarian napper, semi-anarchist, crypto-anarchist, whatever. And he keeps on talking. He's like, wait a minute. Are you even libertarian? What's going on here? So I gave him my little spiel about, so I'm a esoteric crypto monarchist. He's like, what the fuck is that? I'm like, let me break it down for you. And, so I gave him my little definition and that's just it. But I didn't go any further than that because I didn't want the entire podcast to be in. Oh, you don't like it? It's
not bad. But the beer that we had earlier from Stone, that was fucking god-awful.
No,
go ahead. Go ahead. We'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah, so I didn't want to delve into my political philosophy because in the end, it didn't matter. The entire reason was to interview him and get his story and tie it into Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, I look at it, I'm like, yeah, so I'm a monarchist. Okay. So fucking what? How is that necessarily going to change everyone else's worldview? It's not. It's how me and my clan or tribe, we define ourselves, and we don't go...
Nice spooks, nerd.
Right? And we don't go any further out than that.
Okay.
But might does make right in the end. So
at the end of the day, it might make right.
That's right.
Even under normal property laws, like, okay, well, how are you going to enforce those?
Ultimately, anarcho-capitalism will fail under the pretense of who is going to enforce, whatever edict or whatever law. I mean, like, unless you can get people to enforce it, then it's not going to happen. Yeah. Period.
I'm a big fan of polycentric law. Like, once it's monocentric, then I have issues, because then you basically just have a state.
You think? Well, you're going to have a state regardless. Everything, anarchy...
You're not going to have a state, you'll have government.
Anarchy ultimately involves...
There's always going to be government.
No, governance. There will always be... No, there's not. There's governance and government.
We use, wrongly, interchange the word government with state. And it's wrong. Because right now we have a monocentric legal order. So there's only one government. And it's a monopoly.
I wouldn't agree with that per se, because you have the split between state and Fed. Now you've got one.
No. Not state like the state of Nevada, but like states, like nation states and country states.
Yeah,
I'm anti-state.
Yeah, I'm not.
I'm not against governments.
Yeah, see, I can't be anti-state because
I'm against all the current governments. All of them.
In my worldview, I think the best governance would be a city-state, which is what one day I would hope Las Vegas would, devolve into.
Okay. But see, I'm for a polycentric. Like I wouldn't mind a king so long as they were competing kings.
Yeah. I agree.
And I wasn't forced to just choose one.
Right. No, I agree with that. That's why I've really got to map out my whole idea of what Sintopia really is, because so
far it's just like what's going on in Vegas, and people love Vegas.
Well, right, and it's Vegas specific. But
I didn't know it was in a non-libertarian podcast, and I started talking about Lolbert ass shit. You were like, "This is not a Lolbert." I was like, "Oh, okay. Well,
no, but
how about this pizza?"
But in the end, I mean...
Or actually, I was eating Cobb salad at the time. I was still
what was it? Even then, I'm going to... Yeah, it's a non-libertarian podcast, but I'm still going to have libertarians on it. It's just not going to be libertarian-focused. I mean, one thing I would love to do as soon as I can actually get out of, my fear of potentially being criticized is actually start putting out short stories on what I would envision the kingdom or the state of Sintopia would be, and how that would actually break down. Now, some people may actually criticize me for plagiarizing Las Vegas or Fallout Las Vegas or New Vegas, but Obsidian had a fucking great idea with all of that, because
it was Bethesda.
No, it was Obsidian. Fallout New Vegas, the best Fallout that has ever been released.
Yep,
is a non-Bethesda game. So fuck Bethesda.
Okay.
Fuck them right in their ass.
Maybe they'll re-release it for all the new consoles with new water textures.
Oh, good God. As if they could do a 2 or just... I mean, you could mod it out, but...
I think maybe 2 people in my entire audience would get that joke, and that's it.
Yeah.
The water textures joke.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to explain it. You're on your own there, buddy.
Right. Regardless, everyone should play Fallout New Vegas at least once.
Yeah, I don't have... I'm like... People try to still bring up, like... And I'm not naming names.
Name names. Come on now.
Okay.
Full blast.
Brian Sovereign.
Oh, what, that asshole? Wait, no. I thought he who should not be named with that really terrible podcast in fucking New Hampshire.
Okay, I'm Brian, I'm putting that stuff aside for a second.
Brian, we love you.
Yeah, Brian. I like Brian. But like he was saying, like, well, anarchy means no rulers. Okay, cool. So what? Like, I mean, originally that's what you're talking about. If we're going to be talking about the etymology of words, fine. That's what it means. That's what it meant back then. Okay, so what? Like, economics used to mean, like, how you control your household. Does that mean that, like, anytime we talk about economics, it should never, ever talk about, like, going to the grocery store?
Well, there was what is it?
Unless we're talking about, like, the financial...
well, because everyone's talking about anarchy, right? And so the ANCAPs have their thing. I mean, so we're always talking about the multi... And I'm going to say this loosely, but a multi-state solution. The ANCAPs are going to have their thing. The ANCOMs are going to have their thing. The neo-reactionaries potentially have their own thing. You know, and everyone's going to have their little science experiment, and we'll just see who ends up winning.
That's what I think will end up happening. I mean, and I think like,
but in that, if you
major corporations will have like some serious competition.
No, I don't think they will. Honestly, I think
they do.
No, because the way I think it's going to turn out is the corps are actually going to inherit whatever the U.S. government leaves behind. And then maybe if people can break out of the corpse control, then yeah.
If it were to go that way, then initially, you're going to end up having like Google and Facebook and whatever.
No,
Facebook's dying.
Facebook's dying. I see.
Thank fucking Christ, by the way. But you're going to have like the big companies.
How dare
like,
you use my gardener's name in vain?
Hail Odin.
That's better.
Okay. So, like, you're going to have the big corporations taking over the stuff initially, but I think over time there's going to be competition arising because, one, you're not going to have all these barriers to entries, which is like one of the biggest problems with the state is barriers to entry.
Well, right, but what's to say that a corp, let's just say, for argument's sake, Amazon becomes
a monopsony.
It already is a monopsony.
No, not yet. It's getting there.
It's coming pretty damn close. But I'm just saying, even me and my coworkers were already joking about when Amazon gets the militia and whether or not we would join, because we already know what's coming. But let's just say, for argument's sake, that Amazon itself. What? There's a grimace. There's a sigh.
Yeah, there was a grimace. Go ahead. I'm letting it slide. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I'm just saying, like, I don't think the Moulin Labe, we're all going to shoot the government dead, the way of anarchism is ever going to happen.
No, what I'm saying,
I think if anything, it's going to be like a Somalia thing where the government's just going to fucking collapse. And there's going to be chaos for a while, and then people are going to figure out, hey, maybe we don't need this thing. I think that's probably the most likely scenario.
Right, but what if?
But unlike Somalia, they didn't try to develop an actual government.
No, but what if more like a Shadowrun style, like megacorps start hiring their own PMCs or private
the Drake Corporation
or the private military contractors, Metal Gear style, start enforcing kind of their rule and their law.
That's possible.
But that's more what I'm leaning towards when say Amazon will take over. Amazon will actually take over the corpse or the husk of the former U.S. government to instill potentially their own rule. And the only way they can do that is with force, but then that means they have to get their own militia or their own military.
Yeah.
And I
don't think people have the same. They don't have the same fervor for a corporation as they do a state.
Oh, bullshit!
You don't think so?
No. How many fucking?
I mean, wait. Google fanboys.
How many fucking anarchists love Amazon?
How many?
Fucking flat out.
Okay, true. But how many Google fanboys are there left?
I don't know. The chick who shot up the Google headquarters.
But I'm saying like
might have killed
compare this to the amount of people who were Google fanboys circa 2004, 2007-ish, that range, versus now. What happened to those people? Most of those people are completely off the fucking bandwagon. Most of those people off the bandwagon. How many people who were gung-ho America 2004 to 2007 are still gung-ho? About 95% of them. And by the way, if I were to criticize Amazon to people who love Amazon and Google or whatever, even in Google's heyday, if you were to insult them, a lot of people would be like, okay, well, maybe it's just not for you. But if I were to criticize the United States to a lot of people, they'd be like, fuck you. You don't like America. If you don't like it, you can get out. That shit.
Right.
So there's a different level of fervor.
There is a different level of fervor.
For my previous love of Google than there ever was.
Give it time. I'm seriously. I mean, maybe.
I don't agree with you.
Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, it is possible, but
no one is going to like wrap themselves in the Amazon logo and like threaten to punch people who won't stand for the national anthem of Amazon. It's never going to happen.
I hope you're right. I really do. But at this point,
it's a different kind.
Who knows? I mean,
like, how about this? Star Wars. Think of all the people who fucking love Star Wars who are willing to admit that everything that happened in the prequels or anything that happened in the new series, like you, are just absolutely fucking terrible and they shouldn't be watched. You should only watch the original ones. And man, it could be great if they just went back to the old ways.
Actually, I don't even agree with that. My nuanced opinion on that has changed.
Oh, you like the new ones now?
No, fuck the new ones. Fuck the old ones. Fuck the original. The only true Star Wars are what the fans created. The expanded universe. So it's a fuck all.
Are you trying to make me cringe? Is that what's happening?
Absolutely, because in the end, I believe that this point really hit home when Mike and Jay, or was it Mike and Jay?
There were just three movies that were really good.
No, what I'm saying is when in the Red Letter Media, or was it Half in the Bag or the review? It was the season-ending review of Star Trek: The Discovery, or my favorite STD,
Disco.
when
Star Trek Disco.
When Rich actually asked Mike was, how do you feel that the franchise that you loved as a kid has been destroyed utterly? And just the look on both their faces, I'm like, that's perfect. That's exactly where everything is, because in my mind, Star Trek and Star Wars have been destroyed by the new generation. And it couldn't happen to a better series.
I do like Kelvin timeline stuff, though.
You know what? That's you.
Really
I mean, you do you. Brian, let Brian do Brian. Let him. That's all cool.
No, Brian's taste in music is absolute garbage.
I'm not talking about his taste in music.
Well, not absolute. I will say that fucking Judas Priest album that just came out fucking was fire.
About fucking
100% agree.
Everyone's gonna do their own thing. Everyone's gonna either like or hate whatever's coming out. I'm done. I'd rather watch something or actually read something like Altered Carbon and the books that follow it and The Expanse than what's coming out for Star Trek and Star Wars. Okay. By the way, did you watch Altered Carbon?
No.
Holy shit. Visually,
I was too busy watching Freddy Got Fingered.
No, visually, Altered Carbon is fucking phenomenal. You need to watch it.
No, I need to watch Freddy Got Fingered more times to try to find more meta references. I think I found all of them, actually. I think I found all of them.
Your fucking obsession.
Right now, I'll admit I'm completely obsessed with Freddy Got Fingered.
I don't
because
know.
Of that
I don't
review.
get it. I don't know why.
I used to watch that movie at least once a year, and now in the span of a week, I think it's been out.
See, in my mind,
I've watched it about 7 times. So
in my mind, that's not even a worthy movie to watch every year. For me, personally, I'd rather watch the fucking expanded edition of Lord of the Rings, actually, which I do, one time every year during the summer.
Trash.
You're just objectively wrong. I'm sorry.
No, I just don't like. I get why people like it. It's a beautiful movie. It's well acted. It's well directed.
Yeah, you don't get fantasy. Okay, I get
it's just not my type of movie. I'm not interested in fantasy.
I mean, I understand trash like you just wouldn't understand masterpieces, but come on.
No, Freddy Got Fingered is a masterpiece.
I'm sorry, you're wrong. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't, and I admit that.
You don't get it. You're just not as hip and as enlightened as me to understand Tom Green.
And that's perfectly fine. You can have your Tom Green fetish and suck his cock in Vegas whenever he's here, but...
No, I'm not a big fan of his stand-up.
Oh, he actually does stand-up?
Yeah, he does a stand-up. He has a show here in Vegas.
I bet you it's low energy.
It's pretty low energy. I think the best part
Please
about
clap. Go in there and say, please clap.
is when he does the where people start like asking him to do lines from Freddy Got Fingered.
Well, that'd be right up your alley.
He does like a little segment where he lets people take over, like allow people to ask him to do lines from the movie, and then he'll go back into his routine. But I'm not a big fan of his stand-up, so
I was never. I mean, you watched the
I liked his show.
Did you? It's like I watched it a couple times. I'm like, God, what the fuck is this?
But at the time, it was brand new. Like there was nothing on TV like that.
I get
was
it,
no
but it does,
Eric Andre. There was no Jackass. There was none of that.
But still, even then, even as a teenager, even a preteen, like I still don't fucking understand it. I don't get it. I never understood him. Never understood his style of comedy. Period. I mean, maybe it's the German in me. I just don't find that shit funny. I mean, I'd rather. Oh wait, no, I'm not going to say that.
Tom Green is a secret genius. He was a secret genius.
Says you. I mean,
and he revels in his stupidity.
Okay.
And it's a fantastic film. Go watch Freddy Got Fingered. And goddamn it, release the green cut. Release the green cut.
Or not.
No, definitely release the green cut. Don't fight me on this.
No, I'd rather just...
I need this, damn it.
Okay, no, and I will give this to you, so I'm going to change the subject.
Okay.
Did we go back... Wait, did we talk about Ready Player One?
You touched on it. You said it was just like a hot mess of beautiful CGI.
Watch... I think I did say this, so I don't want to repeat myself, but I will.
It's like someone ejaculated like 80s nostalgia and CGI on the screen.
Yeah, it was. It was weird because there's like this big battle scene, right? It's towards the end. And then I'm seeing characters from like modern first-person shooters, like Tracer from Overwatch. I'm like, how the fuck is this?
I did catch an Overwatch.
How the fuck is this even relevant? I mean, dear God, they had to, instead of actually just keeping it 80s and 90s nostalgia, they had to throw in some modern bullshit.
And I bet Team Fortress wasn't in it either.
No, nobody from TF was in it. But you had people from Halo. You had a Borderlands cameo. So you didn't have like Claptrap or anyone, but you had the Borderlands logo, and that was it. I'm like, God, that's fucking weak.
How are you going to have Overwatch but not Team Fortress? I mean, Overwatch is popular. I get it. But
no, TF and TF2 was fucking huge.
Yeah, but currently at Overwatch... or however popular Overwatch was not nearly as popular as how top popular Team Fortress was when it was at its peak, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and even then, there was the little known and
I'm not bashing Overwatch. I'm just.
There was the only competitor for Overwatch was a Gearbox game called Battleborn. Did you ever hear of that?
No.
It was something similar, and it had a lot of Easter eggs for like the next Borderlands game.
Team Fortress came out in the 90s.
Well, right. Okay, so Ready Player One, the book was actually supposed to be all about 80s and 90s nostalgia, whether it be like first-person shooters, music.
So why was Overwatch in it?
I don't know. They had fucking people from Halo. They had like Master Chief in it. I didn't understand it. I mean, they had TMNT, which made sense, but it was the Michael Bay version of the Turtles.
That's not nostalgic at all.
No, it's not. I mean, I would have had like the fucking the animation or the actual movie fucking Turtles, because that was in the 90s.
Yeah, or the cartoon or the comics rather.
Oh yeah, the original graphic novels, which everything was based on.
Yeah,
which incidentally I had as a kid.
But Team Fortress originally was a Quake mod, Quake 1 mod. Quake 1.
Yeah, but Quake
when was Quake 1? 96?
But it was after Doom was the first, was it not? And then Duke Nukem, then Quake came after, correct?
Right. Well, Duke Nukem was 3D Realms. It wasn't
Right, but I'm saying in terms of the FPS when it came out in the 90s, Doom was the first and then came or was it Wolfenstein?
3D was
Wolfenstein, but Doom made it popular, and then came all the clones, which Quake was one of them.
There was a bunch of Wolfenstein clones, and then Doom came out, and it was like, look what else they can do. It's not just in like small rooms,
not killing Nazis, and
it was like everything in Wolfenstein was like usually indoors, and you would like open up doors. There was a roof and a floor.
Oh, right.
Where Doom was like you were able to have like you can see the sky and shit like that.
Did you ever play Turok? Like any of the Turok games for 64?
They were okay.
Dude,
they were okay.
I loved like the Turok games, and I never realized they were based off a 1950s comic.
I liked GoldenEye more though.
Well, GoldenEye actually was like a key thing in Ready Player One. I mean,
GoldenEye.
Yeah, they had GoldenEye in it. I mean, I don't know. Young adult novels translated into movies
for adults.
Yeah, just aren't good. I mean,
no.
They haven't translated well.
Yep. Awkward silence.
Sigh.
Yeah, I'm just not interested in watching that one. I even saw the trailers for it, and I understood there was a book for it. And I think you've said that like before the book even came out, it was optioned for a movie.
Oh wow!
Before the book even came out, like,
there was
being optioned for a film.
The gentleman, God, I forget his name. He was at Liberty on the Rocks, the one who got the Jesus who got molested.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, he was
don't mention him by name.
Yeah. He was saying that, Ready Player One was a great book, and he heavily recommended it as well as some other people. But after seeing the movie, I'm like, I really don't even want to read the book. Mm-hmm. Don't want to pay the money just to get it. And
there's always a public library. You always get it from the public library.
Yeah, but for me personally, I'd rather have a physical copy and read it. I still got Snow Crash. I gotta get into.
That's a great book.
I tried reading the first page. I'm like, holy shit, I cannot stand Neil Stephenson's writing style.
I didn't like the ending. I'm not going to spoil it, but I didn't like the ending. And I didn't like all the scenes where he just spends all the time talking to a librarian, a digital librarian. That was... they got a little tedious at points.
Pretty
but
sure,
other than that, it was
I'm pretty sure
good.
Ready Player One was probably the same thing because they had a similar situation.
But I read that book because I was super into Second Life at the time. And the guy that I was working for in this company was like really into it, really into it. Even like edited the wiki page for some Neil Stephenson wiki thing.
No, I'm interested in Stevenson's work because of what he did prior to what all that's happening now. I mean, he was talking about the crypt and Cryptonomicon when he was talking about digital currency that ended up being Bitcoin or whatever's going to take its place. Yeah, I
do like him, but yeah, I understand.
His writing style is so torturous. It really is.
Not the biggest fan of his writing style.
I mean, it's like a cyberpunk trying to write. It is a cyberpunk trying to write trying to write fiction. God damn, it's fucking torturous.
But anyways. Yeah, Freddy Got Fingered, one of the best films of all time. Unquestionably.
So how about those Golden Knights?
I haven't been following it. I heard they're in the playoffs now. Happy. Yep. Don't vape like that. Come on. Do you see a fedora on my head?
Yes, I do.
No, God damn it.
I do.
You said you weren't going to tell anyone.
And I heard me lady.
God damn.
I know, I'm a fucking asshole. What do you expect?
I called my girlfriend and I was like, hello, my lady.
He actually has a girlfriend. Holy shit, the MGTOW went rogue.
It means I need to get rid of my vape now.
And you got to burn the fedora.
Yeah,
and,
you got to burn the fedora.
Seamus would
no more D&D.
Seamus would be so disappointed.
Yeah, Seamus is disappointed. Don't vape in the mic. Come on, man. At least I try to turn my head so I don't hear people complaining. But anyways.
Let people complain. Fuck them. Or not.
No. Don't insult my audience, damn it. You can insult your own audience.
I don't think I have an audience to insult, so regardless.
Yeah. I'm just not interested in seeing Ready Player One. It just does not pique my interest. It just seems as though it's trying to be like...
I think it's trying to capitalize.
It's trying to be Kung Fury with a point, and Kung Fury doesn't work with a point. It only works without a point.
Kung Fury is the beauty of Kung Fury, I believe, is because it's just the randomness of. Because what was it? I watched this documentary. It's called Hotline and the Birth of Synthwave. And I've seen a couple of the videos.
Talk about like the game Hot Wave.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hotline Miami. Hotline Miami and the Birth of Synthwave.
I have that game. I just never got around to playing it yet.
I have it too, and I need a controller for it because anyways. So they're talking about this one gentleman who was talking about it there's a controller there. Well, I need one. Anyways,
$40 Amazon.
Yeah, I'll get it. I'll play Hotline Miami.
Assimilate
eventually.
to the Borg.
I work for the Borg. Damn it!
I am already assimilated. I can't assimilate anymore.
The technocracy is one, and
Which
Amazon
reminds
is
me,
it.
you still haven't seen Super Troopers yet. What is wrong with you?
Never wanted to.
God, you're missing out. I'm telling you, the sequel's going to suck. And I got a lot of shit for saying that. And I stand by it 100%. I don't think Broken Lizard has done anything good except for Super Troopers. And we were lucky to get that piece of gold.
Honestly, I
don't think we're going to get anything else good from them. And that includes Super Troopers too.
And I'm so apathetic about it. I don't care.
Yeah. I mean, like,
I don't.
What was it?
I'm more interested in finding out games. Like there was a Far Cry, it was called like Blood Dragon or something like that, but it was completely synthwave based. I'm like, how in the fuck did I not know about this?
It's good. I have it.
Yeah, it's only $14 when I buy it. And then there's a couple other games that are, heavily influenced in the whole deindustrialization synthwave era. I'm just like, this is an entire environment that I never knew about. And I'm like, I feel like I'm at home.
Yeah.
I really do.
Fuck. Oh, God damn it. I forgot where I was going with that. Oh, yeah. Club Dread and Beer Fest, they're okay. They're not funny. I don't think they're good.
Actually, I liked Beer Fest for what it was.
I didn't
it
like
just. Well, so it's
how
like,
could you like Beer Fest but not Freddy Got Fingered?
Because Beer Fest actually had fucking hot chicks and bikinis.
But this one had Ursula, even though she was in a.
It doesn't matter because you're talking about a German. Them going to a German Oktoberfest when a bunch of Germans are watching it, and we're like, yes, this is how it should be. And yes, there's fucking hot chicks with at least double D's drinking beer. I'm okay with that. See, there's my preference.
I don't. When girls drink beer, it does not turn me on. In fact, it sucks.
But in chicks like in lederhosen and okay.
No, if you've ever been on a date with a girl that drinks beer, you'll know why. Because they're constantly going to the bathroom.
Yeah, well.
So it's not... every time I see a girl drinking beer, it's like, damn it. That's going to be
She's going
annoying.
to take a piss.
Yeah, she's going to piss every 5 seconds. Yeah, just...
Yeah, it reminds me of my ex-girlfriend.
Stick to your apple teenies and wine.
Dude, I'm already used to that. My ex-girlfriend, she had 3 kidneys, right? Imagine going on road trips with her. She had to piss like every 20 minutes. So imagine driving from, say, here to Phoenix. Normally was a 6-hour trip. 8 hours later, we're still driving. Yeah, good times.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, where are we going with this?
You got to watch Super Troopers. You at least got to watch that one. I think clear of the sequel that's coming out.
To be honest, I think the only time I'll watch Super Troopers is next time I come to do a podcast. You're like, okay, we got to watch this.
We're going to have to watch Super Troopers.
Okay. Then,
it's really good.
Then I'll yeah.
And we'll watch it with the liter of cola.
I make sure I'll bring my 45 just to kill myself afterwards. How about that?
No, just bring a liter of cola and you'll be all right.
You mean pop?
No, liter of cola. Cola,
what
not
the fuck's
pop.
Cola? I don't even know what you're talking about.
Cola is a type of how do you say pop soda?
I don't get it.
Liter of cola.
The fuck are you from? California. That's right.
Cola, Coke is a cola. Pepsi is a cola.
Right.
RC is a cola.
Right. Pop is a Midwest thing.
That's why they call it Pepsi Cola.
Pop is a
Coca-Cola.
Pop is a Midwest
RC Cola. But pop or soda can include things like Sprite.
Yeah.
Root beer.
And
anything that's carbonated.
And within your own tribe.
But cola does not.
But within your own tribe, you're talking about
not.
pop. If you all drink Pepsi.
Dr. Pepper isn't even cola.
If you all drink Pepsi, then it's pop. And everyone knows what you mean.
No. Oh. If I went to my friends and say, like, hey, you got any pop? They're going to be like...
Yeah, because they're all California faggots. I mean, what's the
that?
point? I mean, what's the
you
point?
Want Coke? Like cocaine? Is that what you want?
You
want some poppers?
So uncultured. I mean, I'm telling you.
You want some animal nitrates?
You got some.
Those are pop. Those are poppers.
I mean,
those are pops.
Steve, are you listening? I mean, Jim's
some
selling
corn pops.
Jim's selling. Come on, Steve.
No.
What the fuck are we even going?
I don't know.
We were just rambling for probably 20 minutes.
We've been one, drinking, two, ingesting insanely hot sauce, and then
that was
then
painful.
beer.
Yeah, that's true.
And Freddie got fingered.
That is not.
It's a triple threat. The hot sauce.
That's like
alcohol.
No, it's quadruple threat.
Because
you mentioned four things.
Pizza and
that
Freddie
pizza
got
was on
fingered.
point though. I gotta admit, dough was good. The sauce was good.
You don't like basil.
Actually, no, that basil was good. The only thing that threw me off was the pepperoni.
Oh, it wasn't pepperoni.
What was that?
It was spicy salami. I don't fuck around with no fucking pepperoni.
But even then, it felt like it was like too thick.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's the only size I can find. It was the nuggets.
I was going to say that's the only thing that threw me off. But other than that, though, the pizza was on point.
Yeah. I would have put anchovies on it, but I didn't know if you were.
Oh, God, I would have thrown that in your face. I'm like, nope. Broken a plate over your head. I'm like, nope.
I have anchovies. I was about ready to put it on mine, but I was like, nah.
Well, you could have, and I would have been like, all right, I'm going in the other room.
Yeah, exactly. I was like,
I'm fucking done.
I would have been like, you're leaving already? We didn't even record yet. I'm short a podcast tonight. Well, I already missed an episode.
I'm just making up for it.
Well, no, yeah. I'm going to do one. I'm doing two today. Well, I knew that I was going to be late doing this one, but I was like, I'd much rather have them wait until morning to get their podcast than to pump out something quick and ill thought out. Have another incoherent bullshit. Oh, you're gonna leave? Yeah. You're leaving?
Yeah. Get more beer. My beer.
You're just leaving me here alone? You're just gonna turn your mic off? So, anyways, while he's off getting a beer, I might as well tell a story that he was telling me. So he was telling me that he was telling me how much he loved The Last Jedi. Was it right? The Last Jedi. He was telling me how he loved it. He thought the artistic merits of that film were absolutely beautiful. If I recall correctly, he said that the snow on the red salt of that planet was absolutely stunning and breathtaking. The story was perfect. It couldn't have gone any better, and it corrected all of the faults that he had with the original film. And he is now sorry that he ever insulted Episode 7. I think that's what you were saying. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh, I'm sorry. Were you talking about
yes,
me and The Last Jedi?
Yes, yeah, I think that's what you were saying.
I still haven't seen it yet. I have
it on 4K.
What is it? I got
the 4K version.
I downloaded the misogynistic cut, which is like only 47 minutes. I might watch that, or I might just keep it because that's funny as hell.
I would totally admit that the second one was not nearly as good as the first one. So if you didn't like the first one, you probably won't like this one even more. But
I did watch a video suggesting that the entire purpose of The Last Jedi was to completely deconstruct
fan theory,
the fan theory and the entire Star Wars universe. And I
get it.
And saying that, I'm like, okay, for everything I've heard and read about it, yeah, I could agree with that. Is it the Star Wars I wanted to see? No. Am I going to watch it? No. And I'm just going to leave it.
Come on, man. You just can't say like, well, I saw some people talk about it and therefore I don't like it.
No, I have.
You could say like, I've seen some things people said about it and it doesn't interest me.
I don't have any. I have no interest in seeing it. Same with
just calling out that you never watch it.
Yeah.
Like as much as I'm totally not interested in watching Harry Potter. As in watching Harry Potter, I'd probably end up watching it one of these days.
You know,
I don't know if I'm going to like it.
I have no. I don't.
I mean, that's just straight up.
I don't want to
blind bias.
Yeah, it is. And
Okay.
Is there anything wrong with it?
Yes.
No.
Because you could be missing out on a lot of good things in life if you're just going to blindly think that anchovies are bad.
Yeah.
Anchovies are fucking delicious.
Says you. And me, I don't want to try it, so therefore I won't.
But they're fucking amazing.
Says you. I mean, now we're looking at subjective taste now. You're going to say that.
Yeah, but you don't know.
And I don't.
You don't.
Right.
You don't
But the point is, I don't care to know. So therefore, I'm bypassing entirely and just moving on with my life.
I mean, I can have opinions about New York City because there's other ways of finding out about New York City than actually going, like actually talking to people from New York City.
Yeah, and I share my disgust with New Yorkers as much as you do.
Mm-hmm. That's a different thing.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, how could you say that you don't like? How could you say that you don't like the new film?
Okay, maybe I should.
Let me
rephrase that.
Okay. And that you'll never watch it.
I don't care to watch the new film because I just don't care.
Okay.
I'm apathetic about the way they're going, and you know what?
But is there something someone can tell you that would make you change your mind?
No, not really.
Then you're closed-minded.
About Star Wars, yes. About Black Panther, about 50%, because I'll watch it eventually. But
Black Panther was good.
That's what I've heard. I'm just giving
Probably
it
one of the best.
I'm just giving it time.
Marvel movies.
I'm giving it time, and I'll watch it in my own time. Star Wars, I don't care. I don't care what they're doing with the comics. I don't care what they're doing with the books.
Well, I don't care what they're doing with the comics.
Well, no,
I don't care what they're doing with the books either.
I don't care about the entire franchise, period.
Okay.
Because what I saw...
I'm just interested in the main movies now. Rogue One was way overrated. It was good. It was really, really good. I really had a good time watching it. But I think a lot of people are jizzing all over themselves about this movie. Like, it's the best Star Wars movie ever.
Have you noticed that every time I'm on the podcast, we always devolve back into Star Wars and into
because fucking Matt won't fucking get on the goddamn podcast, and that's who I really want to fight with about The Last Jedi.
My utter hatred of the Star Wars franchise.
So I thought The Last Jedi was okay. I didn't think it was great.
Okay.
But I don't. But a lot of the reasons people give for hating the new movie is garbage.
Well,
there's lots of things to hate about the movie. I will give you them that.
Well, right. It's because
the
fans wanted to superimpose their own beliefs.
Yeah, like they'll say things like, "Oh, what was it? This doesn't make any sense how they could just ram into like one of the there's a scene where they fucking go full speed into one of the Star Destroyers at light speed and use the ship as a weapon. They're like, why did they just do that with the Death Star? And I'm like, did you even think about that before you said it out loud? Because think about the size of a Star Destroyer versus the size of the fucking goddamn Death Star. It was the size of a moon.
Right. Honestly. And then that's why.
And then on top of that, fucking person who was controlling that ship fucking perished in it.
And it's cute that you're actually delving into these fucking arguments with these people because it's not even worth your time.
Yeah,
energy.
But they're not even people that like.
Who gives a fuck?
It's like Ben Shapiro saying the shit. And it's like
Ben Shapiro's a fucking moron.
Yeah, he isn't. He can be a moron. He's often a moron.
Yeah, and Ben Shapiro has become exactly what people hate on the left. He's become the exact same on the right. He's a fucking demagogue.
He's a right-wing... He's a right-wing social justice warrior.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah. And so is Molyneux. Molyneux's like the king of social justice warrior. And it's funny because he'll complain about like quote unquote virtue signaling.
He's doing the same damn thing.
But not only does he virtue signal, he uses the word virtue when he virtue signals.
Well, it's because he probably came
it's so, and he does it so unironically. I'm starting to think that he's like a parody of himself.
I still wonder. It's like there was a point, and I'm coming back to
these people have no virtue.
Coming back to your driving home when what was the title of it?
I've done fucking like 200 episodes of that shit.
No, it was within the last week. Pull it up because I want people to listen to this again because I thought it was really fucking good.
Which one was it?
It was the one about labeling.
Oh, I don't remember. I've done. I think I've talked about that a couple of times.
Give us a moment, and it was the most recent one. It was.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, James Weeks.
James Weeks got some titties on his podcast.
Yeah, but he censored them like a fag.
Oh, come on. Well, Patreon is actually like going after people using like sexual content in their stuff.
Really? Because that's half their fucking user base.
Well, it wasn't defending myself, was it?
Yeah, you were defending yourself. It was driving traffic, trap porn stars' egos. Actually, no. Scroll up. Yeah. No. Libertarian IP, driving logic, and it was called defending yourself, defending myself, or not defending myself.
Yeah, defending myself ?
Yeah, and
that was kind of like what I was I was kind of going on this rant about, like, because there was someone that was in the comment section saying like oh, he's talking shit about religion and he's a Satanist. And I'm like, pick one. And
Wait. The Satanists I knew, even growing up, even when I was a Satanist for that short time, we all talked shit about Christianity. Fuck.
Well, no.
Even as a
said
pagan,
religion.
Even as a pagan, I still talk shit about Christianity.
Well, no, I didn't say Christianity. He said he said religion, and I was like, you do understand that it's a secular religion, but what they were saying, like, well, Satanism means to me, like, you know, like being tyrannical to other people, and I'm like, well, it's a good thing you don't get to control those definitions. But like, he was trying to get me to defend like my position, and I was just not having any of it. I was just like, no, like, you can go ahead and believe whatever the fuck you want about me. I don't care.
Right, but this is what it is for me, and it's not changing.
Yeah. Because I know what it means to me, and that's all that matters.
But that's the point. The point is, it's like,
you want to call me a radical centrist or a communist because I want open borders, or you wanted to think that I'm some sort of fucking Nazi because I think that money's a good thing. Fucking go ahead and think that. I don't give a shit. You know, you're a fucking moron anyway.
And that's why it surprises so many people when I say, hey,
you're either a moron or you're trying to bullshit people into hating me.
Right. Well, no,
so I don't really give a shit what you think.
I never, unless I ask specifically, I never talk about my fucking faith. Because in the end, it doesn't matter to anyone else. It's what matters to me.
Yeah.
I give a fuck else what anyone thinks.
If people ask me about it, I'll talk about it. But yes. I'm not, like, I don't I don't want people, I don't want everybody to be a Satanist, because then what's the point of being on the left-hand path if everybody's on it?
Well, right, and I know you mentioned, and I actually want to clear this up, because you did mention that I was a Satanist at one point. Yes, I was, for a specific amount of time, and then I moved to paganism.
Okay.
So that's what it was. Yes, I was a Satanist at one point, for a small point, and then I moved to paganism.
Okay.
And that's just what it was. I mean, now granted, how did I go from Satanism to paganism? Well, it's not that much of a jump. You're just basically accepting gods. Yeah, it is, but
a lot of the rituals are pretty close.
But the rituals are fucking badass, though, dude.
Both of them have badass rituals, I will say that.
I'm gonna say,
but ours is basically just Catholic Mass.
It is.
Fun of it.
Well, but what's Catholic Mass? Catholic Mass is the old pagan rituals, because they didn't figure anything else out. They decided, hey, we're going to take this.
It was all great missionary work at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
A lot of Christian rituals and rites and traditions and holidays, all that stuff comes from paganism. And the reason why is because they were trying to convert pagans.
Yep. And
it's hard to convert pagans when you say, like, hey, you know how you do birthdays and like this, you know, these winter solstice celebrations? You can't do those anymore. It didn't work. So they said, like, oh, no, you can do all of those, but this is Jesus' birthday. Yeah.
Like, no.
Oh, this is when Jesus was, you know, resurrected on the cross. Yeah, that's it. That's what all those.
And then they take, what is it, saints like Saint Valentine's and Saint Patrick, and they make them great, or they take these people and make them great saints, when in reality there's some pretty horrific people when they were actually killing pagans left and right. Well, actually, no. Saint Valentine, no one really knows. I looked into the history of him. Mm-hmm. No one really knows where Saint Valentine came from, or whether, you know, where that came from. But Saint Patrick specifically was all about fucking getting rid of, driving out the snakes of Britain or Ireland, but the snakes actually meant the pagans, the old Celtics that were inhabiting the area.
Yeah.
So fuck Saint Patrick.
So it really wasn't like a weasel stomping day.
Right.
It was like a Jew stomping day, but pagans were the Jews of the old history, I guess.
You don't. That's a bad analogy. Just like, you know what? No,
bad because people. Yeah, I had to think about that. I was like,
because people just need to say, no. You know what? No, the Celtic people, the old pagan Celtics, were fucking, you know, not crucified, but they were tormented by the fucking Irish, or the Irish Catholics that came in. And yeah, actually, I found out from my sister, like my sister's old grandmother, who actually immigrated from Ireland. Because we were talking about it, and she said she was raised Irish Catholic, but she never really used the Irish Catholic rituals. She always would do these.
She didn't like potatoes?
not that. But no, so she would do these really random rituals, which may have been a holdover from the old Celtic paganism, like using iron dust in the doorway and doing like all this other weird shit that I've never even heard of. So it may have been very specific to the Celtic pantheon.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't really care what people believe. If they want to believe in the Sky Daddy, that's fine. I think it's silly. And I'll tell them it's silly. But, like, I genuinely don't care. I mean, Seamus, I guess he's a co-host of the Lolberts. He hasn't been on in over a year. So who knows?
Seamus, come back. We miss you.
Yeah, we miss Seamus.
I miss you. I
don't know how this is going to work out now that I'm, like, dabbling in Satanism, and he's an ardent Catholic.
Well, I will pay you $2, or was it $2.50, to come back on the Lolberts. Or better yet, $3.50, and I will get Nessie to ned you back to the Lolberts.
That's Scotland.
I know. Nessie's in my heart. Goddamn Loch Ness Monster.
Ain't no such thing.
Okay, so it was a mix between Molyneux bitching about, $2, and then the Loch Ness Monster South Park joke. I had to go between the two.
Yeah, I'm just glad that Molyneux's back in black pill form.
That won't last long. He's a fucking opportunist, dude.
He's going to find another quote-unquote bungee Jesus to attach to. I remember he was calling Ron Paul a bungee Jesus because he was like, oh, you think like some politician is going to come down and bungee out of the sky and save the day?
Well, Trump apparently
that's what you
him.
thought. That's what you said about Trump.
Yeah.
How did that work out? And you got him fucking elected. Well, maybe not you, but
Trump got elected. I mean, I still have the silver round with Trump's face on it, so maybe that will be worth something someday. Like if the death squads come, and I said this when I bought it, the death squads come, maybe I can show them that silver round and they can spare me and my family's life.
What do you think about David Stockman and his prediction that Trump will be out before the end of 2018? Do you think that's...
Remind me who David Stockman is?
He was...
is he part of the Mises Institute?
I don't know. I know he does a lot of shows with like Tom Woods, but he was like I think he was in the Nixon. He was in the Nixon administration, and he was kicked out.
Okay, so.
because he's got some very libertarian Austrian kind of views.
Right.
He stuck to his guns, and it ended up getting him kicked out.
To be honest, everyone in the Austrian school or the Mises Institute who's talked about Trump, they've been right and they've been wrong.
But he's still sticking by it, and he's got a pretty good rationale for it. And it seems like it's slowly playing out. Oh my God,
that is great. Logic works, but then it doesn't. I mean, Trump's such a no. I don't. I think Trump
because of the spending bill and the war stuff.
No, because people are so fucking.
But if he loses the House or the Senate,
we'll see. I mean, there's maybe not.
This is an election year, and he's not doing too well. And that omnibus spending bill.
Doesn't matter. I think people
are turned off by Trump now.
They say it, but you know what? I think people will stick to their guns behind Trump because he's supposedly still the anti-establishment until he actually does something. Well, I mean, fuck.
I don't know.
We have to retract that. Yeah, I don't know, and I'm fully fine. I'm okay with saying I don't know, and to be honest, I don't care who's going to replace him.
Oh, if he gets impeached, it'd be Pence.
How are they going to impeach him?
If the Democrats get control of the House,
right
in this election, they're going to do
that's
it.
Great. That's great. How are they going to impeach him?
And start impeachment proceedings.
Okay, that's great. Clinton was impeached.
Yeah,
that didn't do anything.
Right, but they couldn't get him removed.
Okay, great. They could impeach Trump, but not remove him.
They could possibly remove him if they get enough seats in the House. There's a big anti-Trump movement. I don't know.
Right.
I'm not saying that I know.
Right.
But I think
But do you realize that?
But it seems as though his predictions are starting to kind of come to pass.
Well, that's great.
Like one by
Did
one.
he also predict a fucking hot civil war, which may happen if Trump is impeached? A hot civil war.
What is this?
Meaning actual fucking fire. You mean people firing on each other and going to war? Not talking about.
I don't think that's
because right now we're looking at a cold civil war because you got the culture war going on. If Trump gets impeached, that's the straw that breaks the camel's back, and that might actually cause people to say, "You know what? Fuck it.
Now a lot of people are turning on Trump just over this spending bill, period.
That's great, but these are Republicans who will never take up arms. I'm talking about middle America who's just getting fucked left and right.
But if they impeach him, they're going to get Pence. I think a lot of Republicans would be a lot happier with Pence over Trump.
I think there's too much of a populist movement growing, and
Pence is not a populist.
Right, so people would rebel against Pence.
I don't think populism's kind of...
Maybe not.
Doesn't stay popular very long. It's kind of ironic.
No, and that's true. But so, I mean, I will be more than happy to be wrong, but I just don't know. I mean, I see...
Look at the Zeitgeist movement. How long did it take for that thing to evolve?
About 2-3 years, maybe 4.
Was it when did that movie come out? I think it was 2009, and it kind of broke up in early 20... Yeah, it took about a couple years. It took 2 years.
Honestly, who knows? All I know is I'm worried that Trump would actually spark World War...
Holy shit.
World War III?
I don't know.
The West is actually... For what I'm seeing, I mean, I may be wrong, but from my point of view, it looks like the West is actually pushing for a hot war with Russia.
Yeah.
Between what Britain is doing with the expulsion of diplomats of Russia, that's the U.S. too, over this spy and his daughter dying by a chemical, which Russia has asked specifically, where's the evidence? And the UK said, fuck you. There's too much, and the shit going on with Syria again. I mean, there's too many, and there's even a Russian intelligence analyst who's saying, "What the fuck, West? I came over here, and what the fuck are you doing?" I mean, that is.
Well, I'm not completely ruling out like a World War III, but I think might be a stretch.
No, it's a concern. It is definitely a concern because if you look at what Trump has done,
I definitely think like another Cold War might happen.
Dude, we've already been in a Cold War. We've been.
I'm talking about like an actual as far as it was back then. We're not nearly that close right now. Where it's basically verging on hot war. We're not that close. Right now, it's just a bunch of people shit talking, and Trump and Putin are not on completely bad terms.
No, they're not. But if you look at
their states are kind of conflicting. But
right,
not that
but
much.
who's Trump is now putting in his cabinet? He's developing a war cabinet.
Yeah,
John Bolton, really?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's what I'm saying. I'm not completely ruling it out.
That actually has me very concerned because we've seen this shit before.
Yeah. George W. Bush.
I mean, what was it when MK was last on? She was talking about her and Angela, and they were talking about calling congressmen for all this shit. I mean, my God, I think it's even closer than we think.
Well, that was over Yemen.
That was over Yemen, but fuck Yemen. And I mean, Yemen's an issue.
The Syria thing is what really concerns me, and I'm actually getting the names of these countries right again. Thank God, I wasn't on that show. But Syria,
that's because you're not talking to MK because the feminist logic is not.
God, stop!
Fogging your memory.
Stop! Shouldn't be ridiculous.
But I'm right.
No.
Sorry, MK. I love you.
What was it? God damn it. No, but Syria, there's a lot of Russian support in that conflict.
In Syria, there is a lot of Iranian and Russian support.
Yeah.
Specifically.
So, meddling in that area, that could definitely cause some serious international backlash, for
absolutely.
Sure.
But if you also
with
look
Iran and Russia.
Right, but also if you look at what's going on with NATO and the Russian border with the Eastern Baltic states, that's another issue that potentially could come to a hot war.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of shit going on.
But Yemen, yeah, that was the thing with Yemen. I don't really know what the connections are with Yemen and Russia and some of the other states. But in the Middle East, yeah, they're usually kind of...
Well, Yemen, what is it? Saudi Arabia is waging a war on Yemen. The U.S. is supplying weapons to Saudi Arabian forces.
It's a fucking hot mess.
Oh, absolutely. But
the whole region is just a hot mess. And a lot of it has to do with that. And it drives me up the fucking wall when I hear people like Ben Shapiro go like, listen, gang, the Iraq war wasn't so bad, okay? I know it's not very popular, but all the intelligence agencies said it was good.
Well, that's what happens.
But we also know that they were lying at the time.
Right, but even then, by his own admission, he's fucking pro-Jewish. He's pro-Israeli state. So
pro-Jewish.
Pro-Israeli state.
Pro-Israel is probably
pro-Israel, and he's Jewish, so therefore he's pro-Israeli Jewish, whatever.
Yeah.
But anything he says about it, it's fucking propaganda because you may or may not be getting the truth from him.
Yeah.
Because of a biased opinion.
And it's hot garbage because we knew at the time that the agencies were being pushed to find information that wasn't there, and they were also talking about things like the Yellow Cake document, which we even knew at the time was not true.
So why doesn't anyone?
Because Joe Wilson was even coming out on the scene, going like, "I was the one that fucking was doing that report. Like I did that investigation."
So why doesn't anyone actually come out against Shapiro and actually use this against him? Is it because he's a smooth talking Jewish lawyer? I mean,
because he chooses who he wants to talk to.
Yeah, that shit's all
show.
fucking scripted. So fuck Shapiro.
Yeah,
fuck him.
Yeah, fuck Shapiro.
Like
there's certain things that are, like the only reason why I even listen to him is because I'm interested like on his take on like the politics of the country. Anytime he talks about anything else, I'm just like, shut up. Stop talking about foreign policy. Stop talking about this. Stop talking about. Stop trying to make predictions about the elections. We already know your predictions.
He's a fucking
shit.
He's a straight up neocon, and I thought.
But when he talks about like what's happening inside of the government and the conflicts that are going on between like the House and the Senate and the presidency and the deep state, like that's kind of interesting to hear like his take on that. But even then, I take it with a fucking grain of salt. Once he starts talking about the culture war, or once he starts talking about war or military interventions, and there's some like shut the fuck up. And I'll fast forward it.
I would love if anyone is in California that's of this SJW persuasion. I would love for them to ask a straight up go. You know, whenever he goes and talks at a Cal University or whatever, go up and ask them like, what are your feelings on a specific foreign policy matter that is actually anti-Israeli.
Oh yeah. He's very pro-Israel. But then again, I'm not anti-Israel, and people give me shit over that because it's like, well, dude, why do you hate Palestine? It's like why do you like Palestine? Like I don't like Israel, but I also don't like Palestine. I think they're both evil. I think they're evil people fighting each other at the end of the day. If you were to ask me to choose a side, I'd probably take Israel.
Interesting.
But I don't want to. I don't want to take a side.
I think
a pox, for me, it's a pox on both their houses.
Honestly, take away U.S. involvement, U.S. money, U.S. weapons. Let both states fight it out.
And they can.
And see who comes out on top.
Israel doesn't need U.S. support. They have their own weapons. They have the fucking bomb. Why do they need us? If having the bomb is so detrimental, like we keep hearing that shit, right? Like, oh, if they have a bomb or if they have if they have nuclear weapons, like that could pretty much stabilize.
Fuck, doesn't Pakistan have the bomb?
Yeah, it's like
how many countries actually have the bomb?
I don't know.
Let's say Russia, U.S., China. Pakistan,
the nuclear club.
Yeah,
nuclear.
Okay, maybe it's 7 or 8 countries, but I mean these are the countries who are going to rule the world. Period.
Yeah.
North Korea, absolutely. North Korea's got the bomb.
Yep.
And maybe one day we will see a unified Korea. I know. People laugh, but hell, who knows?
It's so hard because North Korea. Just keep that away from the mic. M'lady. The North Korean thing, it's like it's kind of hard for them to give up power, even if they wanted to.
Oh, they couldn't because
they couldn't give up not even a shred of power
because they would get overrun.
Yeah,
and the most I've learned about North Korean foreign policy, I've learned from Michael Malice, bless his heart.
Oh, bless your heart, Michael Malice.
Right?
I do like Michael Malice, even though he's. It turns out, and a little birdie told me that he puts ketchup on a steak.
Off to Auschwitz for
At
you.
least, hey, he's Jewish. Watch that.
But I'm pretty sure
Confirmed anti-Semite.
vegan Hitler decided it's like no ketchup, no,
Yeah, you, not even Hitler, if he ate meat, would put ketchup on a steak. But he doesn't eat it well done, so kudos.
Well, he's got that going for him. So
He's
maybe
got
not
that going for
Auschwitz,
him.
maybe a work camp in Siberia.
Yeah.
Going back home.
Go back to Siberia. Go back to Moscow. Anyways,
Moskova.
should probably start wrapping this up.
Really? We've been rambling for how long?
Yeah. This is just like a drunken ramble.
Oh, it is.
But that's how usually these episodes are, unless like I have to go donate blood. What was that one thing I had to do? I can't remember. It was something to do with work. Some bullshit at work.
You had to donate platelets or whatever for...
Yeah, and I couldn't drink. And then I ended up I couldn't donate platelets for whatever reason.
And what was the other... Oh, the last episode, I didn't drink specifically because we were doing a live read of a terrible movie. Do you remember that? We watched The Room.
Yes.
And then we watched... What was it afterwards? There was a reading for... I don't even know what it was.
It was Wish Upon.
Wish Upon.
We did a commentary track for Wish Upon.
Oh! I have a couple of... Oh, I've got one of Neil Breen's movies. We need to do one. It's not Double Down.
I have it on Amazon Prime now, or video, whatever. It has it.
Double Down?
No, not Double Down. This is newer one.
Pass Through? Not Pass
One where
Through.
he's on the computer the whole time. Oh, God, that's everyone. Hold on.
Super Hacker.
Yeah, where he's inside
Neil
of his
Breen.
house using the computer rather than outside.
Let me give an update about what happened with myself and J. Neil Schulman.
Oh, don't bury the lead, because I don't think we've ever talked about like.
No, we haven't. So
Okay.
I actually I thought of a great idea to try and see if Jim could actually finagle his way to get us both on this set of J. Neil Schulman's new movie.
But then Jackie, I don't know if I should say her last name, but a person who I know whose name's Jackie, who's obsessed with this film, has been trying to get her and us a cameo.
And
on this movie.
that would be phenomenal. And then all of a sudden, I thought of the great idea to try and reach out to Jay on Facebook, and we had a back and forth, and let's just say that he was rather unwilling to accommodate a podcast interview, because I was willing to do a Sintopia episode with him, and I was even willing to drive out to where he was to go and do this, but it didn't. He said, what was it? He wanted to do... let me back up. So I extended a friend request to him. He said the only way he would accept my friend request is if I actually interviewed him for the radio show for my podcast, and then we started discussing terms, and the terms were not agreeable, but then all of a sudden he actually accepted the friend request. And then it died. So I don't know what happened after that. As far as I'm concerned, the
I think
interview...
that was a no.
Yeah, the interview's a no. But he accepted my friend request, and that's where it's at. That's sad, because I would love to do a Sintopia episode.
We'll get to that. We'll still push for that.
No, absolutely. I honestly believe and maybe I should reach out to Neil Breen too to see him do a Sintopia.
Dude, if you do a Neil Breen episode, that would be it.
That'd be golden.
It'd be better than Teller. I think more people would turn into that one than Teller.
Well, that'll be definitely one I'll try and do in the future.
Yep.
But I do need to get an actual legitimate website up and get off Patreon.
I sent you the thing so you can get started on that. Why don't you go ahead and link or tell people where they can
Yeah,
listen.
okay, so I am on Patreon. That's patreon.com/Sintopia. Sintopia.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at so far. I haven't yet to set up an actual...
Well, you might as well say it just in case they can check it later on. If people go back... and
If
listen
they go
to this.
back, so
So if you're listening to this in the future...
Future.
Welcome to the future!
Yeah, so the intended website is going to be Sintopia.org.
Okay. You have the domain, right? You already bought it?
No, I'll be buying within.
You got to buy it now. Because this is going on.
Yeah. Well, you said that last time, and still no one's bought it, so whatever.
Oh, whatever. Okay.
Yeah, I'll be buying that, but yeah, that'll be the URL.
Yep. So thanks for stopping by, and thanks for the beer. Even though I wasn't the biggest fan, it wasn't bad.
No, yeah, no. And then I'm honest, I could do better.
I like hoppy stuff.
No, you do, and I
like
don't.
hoppy
and
stuff. I like spicy stuff.
And yet, there's dichotomy. Jim likes the hoppy shit. I like the more.
If you could make
dark.
if you could make that with ghost pepper, it would be on point.
Well, I'll have to start looking at it in terms of mixing like a red ale or an Irish ale with spice.
There was a beer, and they still sell it, sort of. But there was a beer called Cave Creek Chili Beer, and it was made in Arizona somewhere. And it was like a craft beer.
Probably Cave Creek.
It was called... Well, the Cave Creek isn't there anymore, from what I know.
David, you're in Arizona now, so you should get on this.
But they sold it to Corona, and then I guess the company went under or whatever. The original company went under. But they sold it to Corona, and Corona makes... They basically just take Corona beer and then put one of the like a pepper in it. And then that's it. Like a Serrano pepper in it. And it sucks. But back in the day, it used to be really good.
Well, there was that chili ale or whatever that we had.
But it would have a chili. But there would be a chili inside of the beer.
Oh, in the bottle?
In the bottle. And then when you're done, you could eat the chili, but it didn't really matter because the chili would like leach all of its capsaicin out into the rest of the beer. So it was basically like an edible version of the beer.
Right. No,
so it really wasn't that much more spicy.
So my next ale, I think I already said this.
You should put a pepper in there.
No, when I cycle back to the red ale or to the Irish ale, Irish red, I'll look into doing that. But for the next one, I'm going to do that honey pale ale.
Serrano. A little Serrano pepper. But they use like a Serrano pepper that wasn't as hot as a regular Serrano. Because Serranos are fucking really hot.
Yeah, let me look.
There's got to be some kind of like... Oh, you know what? They have like those little Thai peppers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me
try around.
Yeah, let me look into it and then see what I can do.
Yeah. Oh God, I want one now. I really want to even try the chili beer again, even though I know the beer itself is crap. But it's just for that pepper.
Well, on that note.
Yep. Anyways, thanks for coming by.
All right, peace.
Hail Satan.
Hail Odin.
Yeah.